Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 hardest characters to unlock, from bosses to companions to playable characters. Number 20, Wolverine, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. Most secret characters in the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater series don't require much effort to unlock. Heck, you can easily get away with just typing in the codes that unlock everything in the game. But if you want to do things legitimately for whatever reason, Pro Skater 5 might give you the most trouble. Unlike the other characters, Wolverine comes with a lengthy, time-consuming requirement to unlock him. You'll just have to complete the entire game with 2 separate characters. That's right, every stunt, every trick, every skate letter, every combo will have to be done twice between 2 different skaters. Have fun! Number 19, Mewtwo, Super Smash Bros. Melee. Much like Wolverine, the grind to unlock Mewtwo in Smash Bros. Melee is incredibly time-consuming. What's more shocking is that there are 2 ways to get him, both involving an incredible amount of grinding. Method 1 requires you to clock in at least 20 hours of game time, which you can spend in any number of ways between Adventure Mode, Classic Mode, Events, Training, Target Modes, or just regular matches. Method 2 is simply playing regular matches. Well, 700 matches in total. Either way, better make sure you get good before the ultimate life form shows up. He ain't going down easy. Number 18, Devil, Tekken 2. In most fighting games, unlocking the boss as a playable character only requires you to beat the game with every character. Totally doable in just a few hours. Tekken 2 is a special case, however, as it kind of pulls the wool over your eyes from the get-go. See, the 10 characters you see on the fighter select screen aren't the only characters you need to beat the game with. You're going to need to beat the game with every single unlockable character as well. In other words, you're going to need to understand every character's toolkit while adjusting to the game's archaic controls. Perfect! Number 17, Squall, Chocobo Racing. Didn't expect a kart racer to show up on this list, did you? Overall, Chocobo Racing is one of the easiest racing games you could play. Although, there is a tiny asterisk over that statement. See, if you just sprint through the story and play for fun, yeah, easy game. But if you want to complete the game and unlock every character, you're going to need to race Squall on his own course. Now, what makes this frustrating is that Squall is the most broken character in the entire game. The hero of Final Fantasy VIII is the only character with a power-up equivalent to Mario Kart's blue shell. The power-up hits everyone and is completely unavoidable. Yeah, Squall is a filthy cheat. Number 16, Morrigan and Nakoruru, Capcom vs SNK Millennium Fight 2000 Pro.
Your team. I'm in the order of the mouth. Brace yourself.
We promise the entire list isn't loaded with fighting games requiring you to just beat the game with every character, but we'd be remiss not to include Capcom vs SNK Millennium Fight 2000 Pro because of the sheer size of the roster. Would you believe that Morrigan and Nakoruru are hiding among this huge cast? In order to access these legendary fighters, you will need to beat the entire game with every Capcom character to unlock Morrigan and every SNK character to unlock Nakoruru. Think you have the time to tackle the latter with more than 30 characters? Number 15, Diva, Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 hides a wealth of powerful summons to aid you in battle, but there's one summon very few players manage to find during their initial playthrough. Remember how annoying divas were to fight? Well, you can turn that around by summoning a diva of your own. In Act 3, there is a fake wall in the Vault of Sorcerous Sundries that can only be reached by crossing an invisible bridge. Baldur's Gate 3 does not hint at this possibility in any way, shape, or form, meaning the only way you would ever acquire the summon is if you were testing every corner of every area you entered. Best to look up a guide for this one.
Ramazith, Elminster, Silverhand, and Karsus. What secrets of Netheril might lie behind his door, I wonder?
Number 14, Stormtalon, Ghostmaster. In case you've never heard of it, Ghostmaster was a hidden gem of a PC game where you utilized a small troop of ghosts and ghouls to scare the denizens of Gravenville. You can even find special spooks hidden behind puzzles or, in Stormtalon's case, special events and powers happening at very specific points. To unlock Stormtalon, you'll have to play a scenario that takes place at Spooky Hollow. Then, summon a storm before you go using your wind and water powers to create the distant thunder condition. As soon as you do, Stormtalon will appear to help you haunt residents.
Stormtalon, prince among elementals, answers your call of thunder and lightning.
Number 13, Junkyard Dog, Fallout 4.
You've got a deal.
Oh, yeah? You sure? I mean, she's a great dog, don't get me wrong.
We all know the usual suspects when it comes to Fallout 4's roster of companions. Piper, Dogmeat, Nick Valentine, but did you know there's one companion very few know about? It's a second dog too. See, every time you enter and re-enter the Commonwealth, there is one specific merchant who will spawn in a random spot somewhere in the world. So it's already hard enough to figure out where this guy is. Not only do you have to find this merchant, you will also need a high enough charisma stat to pass the skill check and convince him to let you purchase his dog from him. If you can, try to just max out your charisma before attempting to track him down and get the dog. It will be worth the time and effort.
You be a good girl. Bye-bye. I gotta go. You take care of her, alright?
Number 12, Floyd, Mortal Kombat 1. Initially, the requirements to unlock Floyd may seem like a daunting task. The secret boss is locked behind a whopping 37 secret challenges. Here's the thing though, you don't need to fulfill all 37 challenges. Those challenges are merely a pool for Mortal Kombat 1 to pull from and assign 10 of them at random to each player. You won't know which 10 you were assigned until you attempt them, and once you do, you'll be challenged by one of the most formidable ninjas in Mortal Kombat history, the Pink Menace, Floyd. Beware the Rainbow Walls. Number 11, Vincent Valentine, Final Fantasy VII. Much like Baldur's Gate 3 and the Diva Summon, Final Fantasy VII does not give any sign that Vincent is anywhere in the game. This was one of those unlockables you either had to figure out on your own back in the day, or take the word of mouth with a grain of salt. In order to recruit Vincent for yourself, you'll need to track down the code to unlock Shinra Manor's safe and defeat the secret boss, Lost Number. Afterwards, you'll be able to talk to Vincent, but here's where it gets tricky. You will need to make very specific dialogue choices, or else Vincent will end the conversation. And no, you will not be able to try again unless you turn the game off without saving. Number 10, Iron Checkpoint Crate, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. When Crash Bandicoot's first racer was remastered for the modern era, it brought together characters from across the entire franchise, including some no one expected to see. Within the main platformers, the Iron Checkpoint Crate is exactly what it sounds like, a checkpoint. But in a post-launch update for Nitro Fueled, the developer included it as a silly unlockable character. In order to earn it, you have to find all 39 hidden Beanox crates, one for each level save for the PS4 exclusive Retro Stadium. That's already a tall order, but some of these crates are hard to find and even harder to break while barreling through courses at high speeds. Number 9. Stefan, Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance. There are some characters whose method of unlocking is not something the average player would ever think to do. In Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, Stefan is one of the strongest fighters you can add to your party. Unfortunately, it's highly likely that you'll miss the chance to unlock him. He can only join in Chapter 15, and you have to unlock him on the battlefield. But that's not the tough part. The player must have either Lethe or Mordecai step on a specific square away from the fight in order to speak with him. If it's any other character, they'll get his sword, but Stefan will forever be lost. Number 8. The Forgotten, The Binding of Isaac, Rebirth. Although the story follows the unfortunate Isaac, there are still plenty of other characters to find. Added through an expansion, the Forgotten is a skeleton that fights with a bone club and has a laundry list of tasks in order to unlock. After defeating the first boss in under a minute, you'll get a broken shovel. You'll then need to survive as Mom stomps at you from above, though using your shabby prize will at least stop her from attacking in the current room. Eventually making it through a boss rush, you'll repair the shovel. Then just keep surviving waves of enemies until you reach the dark room where you can dig up the Forgotten's remains. Hope it was worth it. Number 7. Skelly, Chrono Cross. As you'll see, some of the hardest characters to unlock can be found in RPGs. Chrono Cross features a surprising 45 possible party members, and Skelly is, without a doubt, the hardest to unlock. You'll come across his lone skull in Fossil Valley, where he'll ask you to track down his remaining parts. You'll then have to track down those parts across 6 different locations of its fairly large world. While it's possible to find some before coming across Skelly, others are pretty challenging to find and hidden in obscure areas. But after bringing them all together and watching him reunite with his grandma back in Termina, Skelly will head out on your adventure. Number 6. Reiji Kido, Revelations, Persona. These days, players can simply look up guides on how to unlock characters, but in 1996, you had to follow a set of specific, obscure decisions in order to earn Reiji in the first Persona. You'd have to know to start the process right at the beginning, heading from the infirmary to the teacher's lounge. Talking to a certain teacher would lead you to a classroom on the 2nd floor where you'd meet Reiji. From there, it took following a set path, including finding and talking to his mother only once and declining specific characters when they wanted to join. If you did any number of things incorrectly, one of the best possible party members would be lost for good. Number 5. William Borden, Urban Reign.
Today, I would like to announce a new crime prevention initiative that will stop this epidemic which plagues our city.
Going through the process of unlocking a character isn't always worth it. This beat-em-up story mode follows Brad Hawk, a hired muscle caught in the middle of a gang war. The villain is corrupt politician William Borden, who is behind the city state and craves even more power. Players can unlock him, though it takes a lot of dedication. You have to get an S rank on every stage, which can be ridiculously tough. There's a number of characters and difficulty levels to consider to find the right balance so you can earn your trophy. But Borden sucks anyway, from his stats to his attacks, so you may as well not even bother.
Borden wins!
Number 4. Zero, Bayonetta. In the original Bayonetta, you could unlock an additional hard mode in the form of a character named Zero. Essentially controlling the same as the main character, Zero can only handle a couple of hits before he goes down. As you might expect, unlocking him is no small feat either. After finishing every Alfheim mission, you can try your hand at a special survival chapter consisting of 51 fights. The first 10 are on normal mode, the next 20 on hard, and the next 20 on non-stop climax. It culminates in a clash with Bayonetta herself, who has 5 health bars and naturally puts up a mighty fight. Number 3. The Crystal Men, FTL, Faster Than Light. With a procedurally generated solar system's worth of encounters, FTL provides a ton of possible allies. But the Crystal Men are both the hardest to recruit and the ones most worth doing so. First, you'll need to be lucky enough to encounter a randomized event where a distress call leads you to an asteroid field. There, you'll find a damaged stasis pod you must get repaired at a specific facility which holds your first Crystal crew member. Then you must wait for another random event to happen, which gets you a device that teleports you to a hidden sector. Only then will you be able to recruit more Crystal Men who have great weapons and one of the best ships in the game. Number 2. Cloud Strife, Final Fantasy Tactics. Although he's arguably the most famous Final Fantasy protagonist, Cloud takes a ton of work to unlock in this spin-off. Like several others, it requires following a very specific path within the story. You must have kept Mustadio in your party and completed Chapter 4, after which you must know to return to his hometown. There, you can aid his father in completing his portal device through a lengthy side quest that includes recruiting other party members and a secret boss fight. You'll also have to have bought a flower from a girl in Salgidos. Afterwards, Cloud will be summoned to this world and he'll join your party the next time you return. How anyone could have known to do all this is beyond us. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Nordom, Planescape, Torment. Not only does unlocking Nordom take some major outside-the-box thinking, but it takes completing an infamously tough dungeon. First, you have to buy what seems like an ordinary cube from the Curiosity Shop. Turns out this is a figurine of a Modron, one of Nordom's mechanical race. But you can only find this out by speaking to some real Modrons or Ivana, the Galeria owner. Only then can you get a chance to solve the cube's puzzle, which will then teleport you to a maze. This labyrinth is one of the most difficult levels the game has to offer, with plenty of strong enemies and shifting parts. Nordom stands as your prize for making it through it all. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.